BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. Welcome to this appointment of 50 minutes of experience. Today I'm with Marcus Lenk. Welcome to this podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nice for me to meet you today. And today, as you know, we talk a bit about experience in photography and not only. So I would like to ask you if you can tell me something about you, not only as a photographer, but as a human.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I am from Berlin. I've been born here. 28 years old, and I've got 2 daughters already. One is quite small. She's just turned
3 in one step, or 2 in 2 different periods?
Different periods. Yeah, the older one is close to 3, and then new baby just came 3 months ago. So
okay, so it's like my baby. It's she came just 2 months ago. So
cool. Yeah. Exciting times.
So we can say in a year we can meet and let's play the babies.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's obviously a kind of a distraction from, like, obviously you gotta, some things have to be, pushed to the side, so you've got more time for the family. But if without the kids, in my free time that I have, I'm doing my photography stuff, while I also work full time as a social media manager.
Yeah.
In an agency here in Berlin.
So let's a bit freely talk about your photography. Then we come back to what is your daily life, also in your work. No.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's impressive your portfolio on Instagram of architecture. I mean, something is far away from what is my style of photography. It's not usually what I see, especially during this podcast. I didn't see a lot of architecture, and I'm happy to talk about something is different. And I have seen that you traveled also a lot, and you have many different kind of building, landscape, and so on. The focus on the profile is actually a lot on perspective and architecture.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know more about your passion for architecture. I mean, do you think it's something related to your childhood? I mean, you was dreaming, for example, to doing the architect, or what?
No, that's actually a good question. I always, I think so. The whole, like, me for taking pictures wasn't like something that I always wanted to do, but I always wanted to see New York City, just because I thought it's a cool city when I was younger, and I just wanted to see it for myself. And when I had the opportunity to be there for the first time in, I think, 2013, I obviously took pictures with my cell phone only. I didn't have a camera, and I didn't really had much thoughts about getting into photography or so. I was just traveling, seeing New York, and took a bunch of pictures, and then that's basically where it kind of started. I think the whole architecture was always a part of it, like seeing these big buildings and stuff. So that's maybe why I like New York in the first place. But no, like, before, I had no touch points with architecture in general. I always loved Berlin for the way it looked and just as a city itself, but that wasn't necessarily for only the architecture.
Yeah, I mean, Berlin, it's a city. It's I mean, I choose it. You was born here, so then it's also nice that in a way you feel this attachment that you like. You stay here, still here, no? And then you can move abroad or somewhere else. I mean, in a way you feel probably what I also feel for the city, no? And I think it's a city really interesting in many point of view. I mean, also this changing, constantly changing, never reveal one face.
Yeah.
It's something I think it's really interesting in this city. The only things probably I'm now a bit disagree is it's difficult. Have I seen for the children to really have a place for them. I mean, if you live like me in Mabit or yeah, I mean the city center, it's really difficult. I don't know in Copenhagen how is that for you? I mean, probably maybe it's more easy for them to have a playground close. They can go out. I don't know. It's something probably you didn't experience yet because they are still younger. But yeah, we have one of almost 7 years old. So then it starts to be difficult to find out the area where they can play.
I'm thinking of that because I mean, before I didn't really obviously think about like the advantages of Copenhagen as being so much water, and so there's actually loads of playgrounds around. But since we got the children, I know for sure that they want to stay here in this area because not my wife. I always wanted to move further into the center of Berlin. I don't know. I mean, I basically lived my whole life around Köpenick, so I obviously for me it was like maybe I'll try something else. But she used to used to live in Prenzlauer Berg near Greifswalder Straße. So yeah, I've been obviously.
Yeah, Prenzlauer Berg. I think it's nice to see with children there because it's full of children. I mean, we have some little friend there, and we go often, no. And so let's jump again to the photography side. In most of the picture, it's kind of that you are in a utopian place. It's utopic in a way. So it's like no one is there. Everything. I mean, a bit more lost than what is in general. No. I mean, in a way, in the winter, as we know, Berlin, it's much more easier to find empty place. In the summer, it's a bit more difficult. So then I want to ask you. I mean, I can feel in a way, no, that this hobby, as we call hobby, really related to also find, let's say, a meditative way to express yourself, no. And I would like to know more about what's your feeling and how he's usually when you go out and you take shoots, what you do, what move you to shoot a picture or not.
So I think for me the most fun part is or like when I set up like for example let's go out for shooting tomorrow. I don't really look up places or like sometimes some people look up buildings and say, hey, I want to go to that specific building and shoot some pictures or so, or to that street or so. I mostly just pick an area like really broad. Let's say, okay, tomorrow I go to Moabit, and then I'll just get out wherever I end up to. I don't know, like train station, subway, wherever, and just start walking. And basically, I'm trying to see new places in Berlin. Obviously, when you live here, you think you know Berlin, but actually, I mean, there's so much to see that you can't really know everything. And that's also the interesting part where I think most of my pictures, it's kind of like I'm a tourist in my city, because I try to avoid like the places that I know already. So maybe even if it's just like taking like the parallel street or something that I've maybe never walked before, I just have browse more with my eyes to look for something interesting. And then I think perspectives.
It's really interesting that, I mean, in a way, I worked a lot in Berlin. I don't know if you know, but we do it meetup from already more than 1 year every Sunday. So we walk, And the only thing is really difficult for me. It's always to set up the point where we meet.
Mm-hmm.
For the rest, I go almost, I don't say every day now, but almost every day out in my beat, and I try always to take some shoots. So then I usually do it. I mean, if the day is not good, I do it 100 shoot. If the day is good, I can go over 700.
Yeah.
Depends. I don't know. For example, if I go in zoological garden, for me it's like a party. I can stay half an hour, 1 hour out of the carriers and trying to shoot every person eat there. Or
Yeah.
yeah, it's for me really a party because there is a lot of people always exchanging. So, but for architecture, I can even understand that it's a bit more difficult because first of all. I have seen that there is not a lot in the night, for example, in your picture.
Yeah.
Like imagine you go out most of the time in the morning, maybe can be days of work and so on. And I'm also curious to know if you have a truth to doing that in the night, for example.
Yeah, it's actually true. Like most of the stuff is daytime. I think that's only because so I never really, took this whole hobby like so serious and like I bought like an expensive camera or stuff. So like the first, I think 1,000 pictures in my on my Instagram account are shot with a phone. I did pretty much all my photos back in the day with my mobile phone, and obviously, once it turns a bit darker, the quality lacks a bit, especially like 4 or 5 years ago when there were like, I mean, now it changed, but I've never used a tripod, and um, yeah, during the night I wasn't really feeling the stuff that I wanted to shoot. And then that's why I mostly, when I work near Hackescher Markt. So before Corona, I was trying and getting like an hour walk during my lunch break, just pathing through Alexanderplatz and just trying to look for new places. I have done some like night Insta walks in New York actually, where I met up with some guys, and they all had like the proper gear, like big cameras and everything, and I just went along with the experience. But even then I couldn't really, like subway stations I took photos of, but once we were outside, then obviously my phone was a bit not
Difficult to
up
shoot.
to the
Yeah, for
quality.
sure.
And I don't know, it's just preference, I think. And I don't think I'll ever try it. I'll stick to the, like, because I do like the contrast, harsh shadows, and like where light hits, and where I can play with, like, maybe there's some, I don't know, maybe like a fence and then it throws a cool shadow or something. I'm looking more into these kind of things, and obviously you
Yeah,
can't
sure.
do that.
I
Even
mean,
though I would probably like to do some analog stuff during the night, like traffic lights and like cool like retro, like I would try this with like maybe an analog camera, but nothing for my Instagram in general. For the stuff that I do usually.
yeah, you have a Instagram. It's actually you have 23,000 followers. So then it's a kind of also you take this rhythmic, and then I think who follow you expect that doesn't expect to doing totally something else. You start portray, for example. I don't know. Maybe you
Well,
will continue to have more follower. You don't know that, but usually, for what I think we know about social media, you are a social media manager, so then you know that most of the followers, they follow something are easier and continuously rhythmic. It's a kind of things happen like that. They are really, you have to be really abstract from the beginning to have a constantly earning of follower.
Yeah, and when I, like, 2015 was probably like my biggest, let's say, Instagram phase, where I gained also most of my following. We did a bunch of meetups, back in the day. There was lots of like community first, so you met up with all these like big photographers, and just went on walks together. This has changed a bit in the last years. Like everyone is doing, everyone is became kind of professional in its way, and doesn't really happen that much anymore, that you meet up with like 3, 4, 5 guys and just randomly walk around Berlin. And then yeah, I think I when I traveled to Australia, I tried to stick to the architecture, but there was a point where I thought, well, man, there's so much cool nature here, and I obviously I took pictures of it just for myself and like memories and stuff. And then at one point I thought, well, I might as well just post it and see what people say. But obviously, my following, the followers were mostly sticking around for the architecture stuff, so it wasn't really recognized that well. But yeah, I'm not really chasing any like following or likes anymore. So I just upload what I
I mean,
is
this
cool.
is clear. I mean, it's I can see it. It's not something pushed. But
Not
yeah,
anymore.
for
Like
sure, for sure.
I really used to upload like every day, and like I would stress myself like, okay, it's like 6 p.m. I need to post. It's like best time of the day or so, or in the morning 8 a.m. I have to post. And I literally posted every day for like maybe 1.5 years or so. But yeah, now it's really one post every month maybe. I really
Yeah,
there's
I mean, I
work
understand
and
because
stuff.
I work as a social media manager. So then,
You get
I mean,
distracted.
I don't know. For me, when someone pay me, it's much more easier. So then I have to do, I have this kind of responsibilities. But yeah, with this project, with my profile, it's always like now I'm trying to post 3 every 2-3 days on BEEX project. I don't want to push a lot also because we had another profile. They were almost 4,000 followers. They deleted our account. I don't know why. And then I started to think, okay, I don't want to invest anymore. I don't want to invest money. I don't want to, because I invested also money. And then I don't know, Instagram deleted the account without saying anything. And I started to feel like, okay, like they farshed me. So I felt not good. And I want to ask you other things. What do you think photography gave to you? I mean, in the inside and outside, that you probably will not experience without.
I think obviously, traveling is different when you also have the urge to like take photos, and like now I can't really, or like we don't choose the places just because I want to take pictures. Obviously it needs to suit everyone. But this definitely changed in the way that I obviously you always have this eye, and you look for pictures, even if you're on a train not carrying a camera or your phone with you. I'm like, oh shit, this could have been a cool picture. And so I'm and I always am excited, because for me, I could take the baby into a stroller and just walk to 1 or 2 hours, even here in Köpenick, and it's exciting for me because I can maybe take another street that I have never walked on. So it's I can do my hobby whenever I want, basically. I can just grab my phone or my camera and just go out and have fun, because I just like the exploration part of it. It's not just I'm not unhappy when I don't have like a cool picture that day or so. It's more the experience itself, just walking around. And even if it's just seeing some cool stuff, or I mean, you know how it is when you walk around Berlin, you see crazy shit, you see interesting stuff. And even if it's that, even if I don't take a picture of it, it's just a fun experience. And that's like one of the more positive stuff. Yeah, and I think something I found, I don't know if you've got the same, let's say negative, due to the fact that you always look for like, let's say, pictures that you could maybe take for your Instagram or just in general of architecture and stuff. I personally tend to forget to yeah, like when, for example, when I walk around with my wife and the kids, and maybe we are on a holiday, I have this focus on like the, obviously it's a new city, so I'm more excited and like, oh, there's cool places here and there, and I tend to take more pictures of like the architecture and stuff than I take of like family and like, taking memories
Yeah,
of
yeah,
children and stuff.
Apple to me too. I mean, it's if I go out, as I said, I can do it also 1,000 shoots, and
Yeah,
now it depends because I'm putting myself in a side like, okay, I have to do it.
yeah,
Also, my girlfriend won't. So then I, in a way, my father asked me every day. So then. And I usually do it a lot with the phone. I think also you have a lot of picture with the phone of your babies, but
yeah,
not with the camera. You don't really put effort,
yeah,
like doing that because in a way or another you don't think about to use this picture. This is the point.
yeah.
And now I'm trying to doing more videos of my baby. So
Mm-hmm.
then I'm putting there. For example, this morning I put the GoPro during she was sleeping, just there.
Mm-hmm.
She would, they move during the sleep, then they turn, and then so on. No? And then when she woke up, yeah, the GoPro was still there, was recording, and I tried to accumulate more video to then mount something, then taking picture. I mean, there is sometimes. Yesterday was a nice light, and then I shoot some picture, but it's once per month. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
really. But with the other the guy of 7, is different because he is more like playing with the camera. So then I gave to him a camera. We have more time outside,
yeah,
and there was some moment that we shoot really a lot of picture together, and it was really funny. Also because you will see. I mean, yeah, the children they are not affected from the picture like us, no. They don't pose, they don't have this afraid to look bad because they don't think about what you can do it with this picture.
you
It's
just take
just
the picture.
free picture
Yeah.
and a lot of fun. And this is always something I loved about taking picture with the children. Also in the past, when I was in Italy, I was working a bit more with the ceremonies and stuff like that, and was always totally different to work with children.
Yeah.
This is something really you start to find the child is in yourself, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got your point, and this is the same for me. It's totally the same for me.
No.
But in photography in general, as a photographer, I'm a kind of photographer. I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about my photography. I mean, I have this idea that I never shot the picture like I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I realized that photography, in my way to think, it's not something you can idealize, but it's just a connection between you and the truth. There is out of yourself, no?
Yeah.
And even if you walk always with the camera in the hand, you will never take exactly the instant that you wanted to figure out, no? I mean, there
Yeah.
will be always something missed. And so then I started more to approach it to photography as accumulator, a researcher tool, so to document the reality, then to give aesthetic part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a really conceptual, difficult conceptual things about photography. And as a editor in this case, when I curate the work of others, I try to figure out much more not what they wanted to do it, but what they have. And so then to also figure out, okay, what is not only the beautiful, but the meaningful part of your work. So where I can see better you than see what I mean. Sometimes there are a lot of people they have also like you also a lot of really beautiful picture, but that in probably in exhibition doesn't work at all because you have two ways, or you take the ways of mainstream exhibition, so they come just to see what already they know,
Mm-hmm.
or they come to see you. I mean, for
Yeah.
sure, when you do it to the second, it's more a risk, but it's a risk made for your attention.
And I think this is also something that's really interesting and also difficult for especially architecture, because you know, the building is there and it will always look kind of the same, and it's your approach how to like which perspective, or you know, maybe the colorway or how you edit afterwards. If it's, you know, because I mean you can go to, I don't know, Kudam and go to Waldorf Astoria and shoot the same lookup that 1 million people did before, but maybe you have like a new unique way of like, if it's perspective or editing afterwards, that is then you and not just a reproduction of like the same image, and that's something that's really difficult for architecture, and that's why I mostly try to avoid, you know, these like, let's say like top spots, because sometimes it's just hard to like to do something that will feel like, oh yeah, that's my picture, because it just looks like, yeah, I mean someone else did this already, which is a challenge in itself as well. When I don't know, when you're in New York, obviously you're going to shoot the World Trade Center or the Empire State Building, but maybe, you know, you find like a cool new way of getting a shot like this, not just from the top of some sort of building where literally all shots look the same, like no matter who took it.
Now that I think about what we talk about, it's I was thinking, yeah, it would be, I don't know, maybe really funny or really complicated, but yeah, there's, for example, a photographer. Now I don't remember at all the name, but I remember that he was composing the picture, so he was kind of renting this big structure of stairs, that he was choosing a point of the city, and then he was taking a picture. I mean, more than one picture in the daylight, in the night, and so on, of every point of the city. So he was doing a big landscape of the city, taking pictures with the big zoom of every part of the city, and then he was taking all of this picture and started to compose a big puzzle of different day, night, and so on, with different people inside, you know, because every zoom was capturing also different people, so it was not everything in movement. And now that I was watching at your picture, I was thinking, maybe, yeah, it would be, I don't know, fucking cool if you start, I don't know, to use the picture as a Lego, and you can build, you know, the building that doesn't exist at all. I mean, from something is there. So then I was watching some picture of balconies and some frames of building you have in your Instagram, and I was thinking, maybe it would be really cool, this creating a world that doesn't exist, but using the character that you find in the real world.
Yeah, that's a cool thought. Yeah, I mean, I'm always thinking about, like, now with this whole like digital art and NFTs and stuff. I thought maybe there's an opportunity to do something with like the building.
I was actually in these last days studying NFT, and I'm trying. I mean, my idea is, I was seeing that there are no books in NFT, and photography, yes, because there was actually this year an exhibition of this art tree that I don't know, photojournalist or something like that, London photojournalist, and really cool work, I have to say, all in NFT. The only point is, I still don't get it, is why should I buy an NFT? This is always the point. I mean, it's okay if you have a life inside of the metaverse, so every metaverse exists. I mean, doesn't matter that if you have a life inside of the digital creation, and so then you are always connected. These are things, maybe it's a more nerd things, I will say, where you can show up this stuff. I mean, it's the art collection is a word also in the reality, really weird and pervert sometimes. But yeah, as many different phases, really interesting, I think, to realize. I mean, content probably doesn't exist now. I mean, it's something I think we will explore for the next 10 years in a different way. Because actually, it's really difficult to find. Okay, I can product something, but then what this object, what is the function of this object then?
Mm-hmm.
What people can do it with my object, because yeah, when they buy an NFT, the point is they don't enjoy the object itself most of the time, but they enjoy the things that they have, the property we see, you know. So it's really difficult that, but yeah, now that I think about because yesterday I was reading about some Blender technique. Yeah, you could, for example, blend the picture you do it and construct a 3D cities using just your picture.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some software they work on that, and then you upload different picture and they blend many parts of picture.
Okay.
I mean, it's a really big world to explore, I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the fun part. There's literally anything you can do with it. You just have to find the stuff that you like, and I mean, obviously, I couldn't do it myself. Like I also edited most of my pictures on my phone because I didn't have an own laptop and I wouldn't really use Photoshop that much. Now I do, like, I mostly do it on Lightroom or Photoshop, just because, yeah, if I do client work, I have to have like proper resolution and stuff, and then I make sure it's all
that point, yeah,
top quality. But that's why I'm not that experienced with, like, overly editing stuff or even creating digital. So that's why, yeah, I haven't really touched base on this topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is a lot of exploring to explore in this world. I'm a kind of artist, so I don't define myself as a photographer, but more as an art director, because I do it many different things in many different fields, and I try always to explore more and accumulate many ways to find solutions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say now, after many years of doing that, there is a lot doing. I mean, you can really use everything and compose stuff. But a suggestion I want to give you, it's the best things are always the most simple and easy, and it's really always difficult to find out. I mean, you have to do it really a lot of complicated stuff to understand that the easy way was the easy way. The easy things was the easy way, and it's a nice realization then that beautiful things really they hide themselves in easy things.
Yeah, that's a good quote.
Yeah. So was nice to meet you. I hope that we can have a walk together in Berlin and meet in person.
Yeah.
And I wish you a really nice Christmas in this case, because it's in 3 days, in 2 days.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's meet. And if anyone wants to see the work of Marcus, you can visit also the website. And in any case, on Instagram is marcusberlin, so that is not difficult to find it. And thank you again.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And then, yeah, feel free to reach out, or we'll keep in contact, and happy to look forward. All right.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, and if you want to learn more about us, you can visit the link allmylinks.com, Berlin Explorer, or our website bexproject.com. And if you want to follow us, you can always get news from Instagram on our account BEEX Project. Thank you again, and see you in the next episode.